It was 28,000 acres of Florida swampland before workers broke ground in April 1969. Now it's the dream destination for millions of people around the world. From the one theme park that opened October 1st, 1971, to the world-class resort that exists today. Goodness gracious, what's happened to that swampland? Walt Disney's dream has become a prosperous reality.
A reality that's changed the way America and the world takes vacations. Walt Disney World. Its symbol, a castle. Its ruler, imagination. Where else can you walk into a fairy tale, go around the world, travel back in time, or fast forward into the future, all in one day? We'll take you behind the scenes and show you Disney World like you've never seen it, as this magical place today kicks off its 25th anniversary celebration.
This morning we say good morning America as day breaks over Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. I'm Joan London.
And I'm Charles Gibson. Good to have you with us on this Tuesday, October 1st, 1996. Not only does the day break over Walt Disney World,
come down,
but a few raindrops
but it's
also.
Been so hot here that it's kind of a little break.
This may indeed cool it down a little bit. For those of you who were listening closely to the dates in that little opening of the program, you will realize that this is 25 years to the day since Walt Disney World first opened. And I think you can argue that this is probably the greatest man-made vacation center that has ever been built. I suppose some people might make a case for Las Vegas, but this has really transformed this country. 250 million people plus in the United States. But in 25 years, there have been 500 million visitors here to Disney World.
And it's so huge. I mean, it's 28,000 acres in all. And as they come in here, this is kind of the centerpiece of the whole thing, the Magic Kingdom. And the first thing visitors really see is Cinderella's castle. Now, it doesn't usually look like that. It's 885 feet high, but they spent months transforming it into the world's largest birthday cake ever.
And coming down here to help them kick off their 25th anniversary celebration gives us a chance to visit our corporate headquarters.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We all now work for the mouse.
Our new boss.
And it also gives us a chance to show you a little bit of what's down here. I think everyone, when they come to Disney World, they see the public face of this place, but they wonder what goes on behind the scenes, and we're going to be able to give them a little bit of look at that, starting with our science editor, Michael Gillen, who is over at one of the other two theme parks. He's at the Disney MGM Studios. Michael?
And Charlie, it is the tallest attraction here at Walt Disney World, and it is the scariest, trust me. It is called the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and in a minute I'm going to give you a kind of behind-the-scenes peek at the incredible technology that makes it so spooky. But first, let's go to Joel Siegel at the Primetime Cafe just down the street. Joel, what's cooking?
Michael, this place gives you a real taste of the 50s and meals like Mom used to make. In fact, all the waitresses here are called Mom, and they treat their customers the way they treat their kids. Just one of the innovations that helps Disney create the world's first theme park.
Joel, you're late. Why are you always late for breakfast?
Come on.
Now to Bill Ritter. Bill?
Joel, isn't it amazing how watching young lovers in Venice can turn even a hardened cynic into a romantic? There's just one catch, though. I'm not in Venice, Italy. I'm in Florida here at Epcot. You can see Epcot's well-known symbol there in the background. You know, you take a walk around this lake. It's really like taking a trip around the world and a peek into the future. I'm going to give you the grand tour. Also, I'll show you how Disney turns all this fun into high finance. But first, we turn to Spencer Christian, who is out there somewhere. Spence, where are you?
Forget romance, Bill. I'm out here roughing it in the wilds on a raft with three rugged pioneer types. No one ever said settling the American frontier was easy. But we'll show you how easy it is to save money and time when you visit Disney World. Charlie?
All right. Thank you, Spencer. Spencer's going to be changing hats many times during this day. Also, Peebo Bryson and Regina Troop are going to be here to sing one of the most famous Disney songs of recent years. But we can't forget the news while we have some fun down here. And Elizabeth Vargas is still in New York, and she has the news of the morning. Elizabeth, good morning.
In 25 years, Walt Disney World has grown, perhaps even beyond Walt Disney's wildest dreams. But where did the seeds of his vision come from? Well, Joel Siegel took a look at that, and he joins us this morning from the Primetime Cafe over at the Disney MGM Studios. Joel?
Good morning, Joan. This 50s-style restaurant looks just like our kitchen used to. In fact, I even remember the Formica. But this wouldn't be here. None of this would be here were it not for the vision of one man, and I mean one man. When Walt Disney came up with the idea for Disneyland back in the 50s, the other 2 billion people in the world figured the only thing that made sense was what he wanted to call part of his park, Fantasyland.
Luna Park, Coney Island, 1928. In the teens and 20s, amusement parks were palaces of light and places of dreams. But by the 50s, amusement parks and piers were hooligan hangouts and sideshow sleaze.
You know, the old boy could be too sharp for an easy climb like this.
This was the 1939 World's Fair. The world had never seen anything like it. Breathtaking vistas, thrill rides that took your breath away, and science and technology exhibits that boggled the mind.
3, 4, 5.
He's almost human.
Fairs drew huge crowds, but they rarely ran more than a year and never made money.
Now, on a site of 240 acres near the city of Anaheim, we've begun to build Disneyland, the place.
So when Walt Disney announced he was going to combine the two in a place no one had heard of,
fair, amusement park, a place of hopes and dreams, facts and fancy, all in one.
the world was sure he'd started to take after one of his cartoon characters, the one called Goofy. Disney risked everything building Disneyland, and it wasn't long after the world's first theme park opened in 1954 that the world saw the one real flaw in Walt Disney's dream. He didn't dream big enough.
Here in Florida, we have something special we never enjoyed at Disneyland, the blessing of size.
Disney World is twice the size of Manhattan Island. Part World's Fair, that's Epcot. Breathtaking vistas, science that boggles the mind. The Magic Kingdom is the amusement park. Old-fashioned thrill rides made new, made part of the theme, made magic.
One other thing Disney World has done, once upon a time, parents took kids on vacation where the parents wanted to go. No more. Disney World has become far and away the biggest family resort destination in the world. One example, they serve close to 150,000 meals a day here at Disney World. And how many meals do you serve here?
Almost 1,500 a day.
Does that include second helpings?
Not for you, big boy.
Joan?
All right, thank you, Joel. They got things here for the big kids and the little kids. But this street that I'm on right here, Main Street, a lot of people don't realize this was really modeled after Walt Disney's childhood home in Marceline, Missouri. And there's all kinds of little shops up and down this street. And right about halfway up the street, Charlie right now is in the Crystal Shop.
Yes, indeed, Joan. This is the Crystal Art Shop. And this gentleman, Mark, is really practicing the ancient art of glassmaking. Now, when he is finished and a little color is brushed on, what he's going to have is this, the rose that was so prominently featured in Beauty and the Beast. You know, this place features old techniques in many areas, like this one, but it is really built on new technology. It is interesting how they take that science and technology that Joel was talking about, and they apply it to the business of having fun. And our science editor, Michael Gillen, really got an unprecedented look at all that as he toured Disney World. Michael, this morning, is over at the Disney MGM studios. Michael?
Good morning, Charlie. You're absolutely right. You know, Walt Disney's imagination revolutionized the world of entertainment. But he wasn't alone, because all along he had the help of an unusual group of folks, scientists and artists who call themselves Imagineers.
Have we got a show for you today? Seems I've got to have a chance.
Our dream was to create the illusion of life. Our dream was to make guests feel they were having a terrifying personal encounter with an alien.
For the past 25 years, Disney Imagineers have stood out from the crowd, pioneering everything from lifelike robots like these U.S. presidents to brand new theater systems and special effects. Where do all these magical ideas get dreamed up? Here at Walt Disney Imagineering in Southern California, where you are about to see things that have never been shown to the public before.
I forgot. I can't tell you about anything else. I would define Imagineering as a creative blend of art and science.
This place is top secret, but Technical Chief Bran Farron let us peek at two special effects that aren't in the theme parks yet.
Michael, this is a vortex generator, and what it's designed to do is give you the effect of a meteorite striking the Earth.
Oh, my.
The secret is a giant bellows. When squeezed, it blows out a huge high-speed smoke ring. Add a flash of light, and poof, you have a fake meteorite.
Okay, Brand, what now?
Michael, I'm not really here. I'm coming to you as a live miniature 3D hologram. I'm really in the next room. Hey, watch it.
You're right.
Holograms have feelings, too.
The secret here is, well, Disney wants to protect its patent and preserve the magic, so all I can say is it involves real diamond dust and Hubble telescope-type technology.
As this millennium draws to a close and the 21st century approaches,
we also found out why all those robots seem so real.
Who killed the Witch of the East? Was it you?
They're called audio animatronics, and each figure is capable of no fewer than 50 separate movements.
So these knobs control the shoulders?
Yeah, that's correct. And it's by utilizing these different movements in sequence that create the illusion of life.
Finally, we got a peek at a computerized safari Jeep that can simulate a really bumpy ride. Part of a new theme park being built called Animal Kingdom. Trust me, this is no ordinary zoo.
We wanted to tell a story about our fascination with the animal world. We're dealing with live animals, fantasy animals, we're dealing with dinosaurs, the whole spectrum.
If that sounds like a wild and crazy idea, well, Vice President Marty Sklar says it's because at Imagineering,
we take the position that no idea is a bad idea. And we want everybody to say whatever's on their mind, whatever they're thinking.
I think if you had fence all around the theater behind you...
Imagineering a new attraction always starts with brainstorming.
Let me remind you what the storyline here is.
Coming up with a plot, scene by scene, as though it were a movie. Then comes the cast of characters, and the idea starts taking shape. In clay, in foam, in very credible three-dimensional realism. 2,200 Imagineers, architects, painters, electrical engineers, using the latest equipment, from CAD/CAM computers to laser-powered jigsaws.
What we do is literally invent the future of storytelling and therefore invent the future of the entertainment business.
So, what will Disney World look like in the future? Well, they wouldn't tell us that, but odds are this quirky band of dreamers will make a splash, create a smash hit, and light up people's faces. Their inventions might even spark the imagination of some future Imagineer.
And to show you how ingenious these Imagineers are, they have earned 80 patents over the years with 20 more pending. And in a little later in the show, I'm going to show you how they put that ingenuity to use in the most scary way. Hint, it's right behind me and it's called the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Charlie?
All right, thank you very much, Michael. The skies are clearing here at Disney World. We're getting a beautiful sunrise, and they're trying to tell me here that all that rain at the beginning of the show was simply made by the Imagineers. At least that's what they're trying to tell us. We're going to get more of the behind-the-scenes look at Disney World a little bit later in the program, including what I don't think many people know about, which is that underneath the Magic Kingdom, there is a whole city, really, of tunnels underground that the public never sees. You'll get a look at it a little bit later in the program. We take a commercial break. Good Morning America continues from Walt Disney World.
Good Morning America, live from Disney World, continues in a moment.
Hi, I'm Kevin Miles from Findlay, Ohio, and we're the Voices of Liberty at Epcot. Good morning, America.
And good morning, America. I'm Charles Gibson. This morning we are at Walt Disney World, just outside Orlando, Florida, and neither one of us can sing a lick.
That's right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joan Lennon. It's Tuesday, October 1st. We're actually right on Main Street in the Magic Kingdom as Walt Disney World gets ready to kick off its 25th anniversary.
So many people have visited here, and I suspect most people know exactly where we are standing, because right behind us is really the signature building of Walt Disney World. It is the icon that sort of everybody recognizes. That is Cinderella's castle, but you wouldn't
doesn't look like it
That's
now.
Right. You wouldn't recognize it today because they've gussied it up as a big birthday cake. 25th anniversary, but 26 candles. You know why?
One to grow on.
One to grow on, just like everybody puts on their kids' birthday cakes. That's what they've done.
And they gave me the recipe. Here it is. It took 215 gallons of paint and 1,110 feet of balloon tubing. But of course, they need a big cake. They invited about 100 million people.
All the people who have visited here in the past.
That's right.
Can they come
over
in for
years and years and years?
Can they come in for free?
No, I think it's BYOM. Bring your own money.
But it is an interesting phenomenon. People do come here, and a lot of people come and come. They return, they return, they return, they return. And we're going to be talking fairly soon to some of the super fans of Disney World.
And few people, I don't think, realize how much goes on to just make this all happen. And we're going to show you a day in the life of Disney. It takes a lot of muscle as well as magic, and we'll show you how it all comes together kind of behind the scenes. But meanwhile, you know, this is 28,000 acres, so we're all over the place. And over at Epcot Center, Bill Ritter is in Italy. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Joan. You know, I thought I was coming to Epcot Center, but clearly I took a wrong turn somewhere because I could swear that I am in Italy. The music, the beautiful architecture, the smell of cappuccino in the morning, a little morning rain. It's really romantic. Hey, hey, hey. Now that's Italian, huh? You know, this looks a lot like Italy, but I have a little secret to tell you. I'm not in Italy, of course. I'm in Florida, Walt Disney World, at Epcot's Italian showcase, where really the whole world is just a few steps away. Now, while it looks real to many of us, we wondered what it looked like to real Europeans. So we asked some of them, and we're going to tell you what they said coming up a little later. But first, we're going to go to Spencer Christian, who I understand is out there braving it in the Wild West. Spence?
Bill, we're kicking up our heels out here this morning outside the Diamond Horseshoe Saloon in Frontierland. This is Disney's tribute to the Old West. Now, city slickers can come here and take a look at an authentic review, and the show is just getting started. Now, I can't dance like these ladies, but I can give you the weather in just a minute. Charlie?
All right, Spencer, good fun down here this morning, but we do not ignore the news of the morning. Elizabeth Vargas is back in New York, has the news. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good.
Happy 25th anniversary to Disney World. Good morning, America.
To keep things running here in Mickey's Kingdom, it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and ears. But from the thousands of costumes to the millions of sodas, from parades by day to fireworks at night, Disney World rocks around the clock. For the public, the Magic Kingdom opens its gates at 8:30 in the morning. But for many of the folks who work here, they've already been on the clock for some time. During those early hours, cleanup crews get rid of yesterday's mess. Every day, Disney World generates some 469 tons of waste. Gardeners get an early start, tending 3 million flowering plants and 100,000 trees. And laundry? Try washing 32,000 uniforms and costumes a day. That's 100 tons of laundry. 7 a.m. Groceries arrive at one of the park's 82 eating places, and cooks start preparing breakfast. Disney World's guests are a hungry bunch, every year consuming 5 million hot dogs, 7 million burgers, and with the tropical climate, 46 million Cokes.
Well, as you can see, we have a lot of hungry people that come to Walt Disney World every day, and it's our job to exceed their expectations.
While throngs of visitors go from one attraction to another, cast members rely on a network of tunnels below the Magic Kingdom to accomplish their needs. They report to work and pick up their costumes. Supplies are shuttled from location to location. It's here that the day-to-day business of Disney World goes on, far from the eyes of visitors enjoying that magical world above. 11 a.m. Epcot's World Showcase opens, Disney World's window on international culture. Epcot boasts 350 mechanical puppets called audio animatronics. To keep them healthy, electronic physicians are on call to perform emergency surgery for hydraulic leaks, electronic nervous tics, and sudden cases of audio laryngitis. Over at Disney MGM Studios, an army of carpenters and artists have created their own Hollywood, building sets for the park's stage productions as well as TV shows and movies. The costume department boasts the largest working wardrobe in the world, dressing 34,000 cast members, including Disney World's most famous residents.
You may not know this, but Mickey has 258 individual costumes for himself, and Minnie is coming up close now. She's at 202.
Toward the end of the afternoon, as visitors start leaving the park, pyrotechnic specialists fine-tune the nightly fireworks display. Illumination 25 uses $7,500 worth of explosives every night, making Disney World one of the country's largest consumer of fireworks. Just another example of going all out to impress even the most hard-to-please visitor.
How can we exceed our guests' expectations? How can we do it better and better and better? And each time they come here, how can we amaze them and really create the magic for them that they expect?
By 11 p.m., Disney World is empty. The cleanup crews arrive, and hi-ho, it's off to work they go. Another day begins.
You think they all whistle while they work? Coming up, Epcot, the United Nations of Disney.
Good Morning America, live from Disney World, continues in a moment.
You are looking at a live helicopter shot of Spaceship Earth, the well-known symbol of Epcot here in at Walt Disney World. This was really Walt Disney's dream, Epcot, and the Magic Kingdom is like a Magic Kingdom for adults. You can travel to places you've never been before, some that don't even exist yet. This is a place without war, without poverty, and oh yeah, the food is fantastic.
A planet that has Jell-O pudding all over the place, you see.
A taste of utopia? That's Epcot, as dreamed up by Walt Disney himself 30 years ago.
It will never cease to be a living blueprint of the future.
Epcot stands for
Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
Just another made-up Disney word that stuck. But this one comes with a vision, the bold merger of old world charm and futuristic potential. You can interface with the future and party in the past at a place called World Showcase. It's a mile-long international tour de force, 11 countries in all.
Passport, please.
Designed for Americans who probably won't travel abroad.
You can say hola to them when they say hola back.
And for foreign tourists who are homesick.
You can see the world here in Epcot.
I thought it was cool that the Japanese had ice cream with red beans in it.
Food plays a big diplomatic role at Epcot, says French chef Bruno Grignon.
Like 140 people together, which don't know each other. And when you get inside the restaurant, it seems to be they know each other because they enjoy all the same food, same ambiance.
Food for thought is served up at Innoventions, sort of a non-stop World's Fair. Here you can save on gas while saving the planet by driving an electric car.
Oh, thank heaven.
Tour St. Peter's without the Pope's blessing at the virtual Vatican.
Well, now I can say I've been there and done that.
And through a high-tech trick.
I assume that's some sort of Disney costume you have on?
Well, it's typical. Even book yourself on a late-night talk show. When it comes to Epcot's utopian message,
where people actually live a life they can't find anywhere else in the world.
It's the grown-ups who are all ears.
Epcot was designed never to be completed, always to be evolving, and to this day, it still is. Still ahead, a Disney World survival guide, how to beat the crowds and save some bucks when Good Morning America continues.
Good Morning America, live from Disney World. Once again, Bill Ritter.
Welcome back. We are at Epcot. You know, millions of people come here every year. Millions more return all the time. Year after year, they even have a name for them here. They're called super fans. Now, the park it's a little early for the park to be open, but we've invited some of these super fans here so we can talk to them, and I'm going to introduce them to you. First one is Mile Baldwin. Now, Mile, you're from Amston, Connecticut.
That's correct.
I understand you are 61 years old, but you have done a feat that few people, I'm sure, have done before. What did you do from Amston, Connecticut?
I rode my bike from Hamden, Connecticut to Walt Disney World.
Here, how long did that take you?
That took 30 days.
And now you must be in pretty good shape to do that.
Well, I had had open heart surgery 3 years before.
Yeah.
So it was a good test for that.
Good job.
Very successful.
I understand. The little elves tell me something. You're going to make another trip soon.
Yes, well, next year we're planning a trip from Walt Disney World out to Disneyland.
By bicycle?
By bicycle.
Good luck. We'll probably check in with you on the road with some live remotes, okay? Thank you, Mile. I'm going to ask you to step over here. I'm going to talk next to Mr. Tyson Irvin. You are 17 years old.
Right,
You're
17.
from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yes, Scottsdale, Arizona.
And we're going to get some umbrellas, if someone get me an umbrella, because it's starting to rain here at Disney World.
This up a little bit.
Very good. Thank you very much. Tyson, how many times have you been to Disney World?
I've been here. This is my 35th trip to Walt Disney World.
35 times. Now, what can you see that's different? I love your umbrella, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of dilapidated a little bit.
What can you see that's different after 35 times here?
Well, you find new things all the time. I mean, the detail here is incredible. And whenever you're here, I see things that people have done back in '71 that I see new when I come back here. Everything's new every time.
Well, another detail is right to your right, so I'm going to scoot ahead of you here. These are the newlyweds, Eddie and Therese Taylor from London, England. Just wed. This is your honeymoon?
That's right, yeah.
We're not intruding, are we?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. Now, why would you come here for your honeymoon?
Because it's a special place, you know, you want your honeymoon to be special. People make you feel happy, you feel friendly when you come here.
It's all about happy endings, and Disney is about happy endings.
Well, and you have a happy beginning, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Now, you're from Europe. Tell me, is this real to you? They've done a pretty good job?
Yeah, they have. In condensing the highlights of European cities. I mean, certainly with England, they have.
Great. Okay, well, thank you all for joining us, super fans, and welcome back to Disney World, and congratulations on your wedding. Okay, a little later on, how Disney turns all this fun into a very serious business, big business. I'll take you behind the scenes when Good Morning America continues from Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
Good Morning America is brought to you by J.C. Penney.
Now, we should tell you, do not adjust your television sets because we have adjusted our cameras to make this look like an old-time movie set. Joan and I have come over from the Magic Kingdom to the Disney MGM studios, and this place is so big
that we're following the rain. Can you believe it? It rained earlier. Then the sun came out. It got beautiful. The rain moved over here, and of course, we followed it.
This is real rain, but everything over here looks like a movie set.
Yeah, but just stop and look at a minute, because, I mean, they captured the essence of Hollywood here. This is like the old corner drugstore where the would-be stars were discovered, all those great stories, and
here she
then
sits
there
in the
were
rain.
the never-to-be-discovered stars. Sorry.
Oh, madam, no. It's so nice of you to come out in the rain and to join us today. But really,
sign with me, and I'll make you both stars.
Yeah, right. I have an agent like that already.
You should be working with him.
Yeah, meet this guy right here.
But this is a place really where everything does look like a movie set.
And you know, the legends just live on here, and they're all, look, everywhere you go here, they're always rehearsing. It's great, but we'll show you the behind the scenes of Disney MGM Studios, and also we will take you on an elevator ride that'll make you wish you took the stairs.
And a little bit later, Peebo Bryson will be here, and Regina Troop to sing, I think, one of the most famous Disney songs of recent years, that from Aladdin. So we take a break. Our second hour coming up. Hope you can stay with us as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of Walt Disney World here on Good Morning America.
Good Morning America Live continues.
Hi, I'm Christine Biondo, and we're all 25-year-plus cast members of Walt Disney World Resort.
Good morning, America!
And hooray for Hollywood and the Hollywood Marching Band. We've left the Magic Kingdom for the magic of the movie at Disney MGM Studios. From Snow White and Seven Dwarfs back in 1937 to the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Disney really found a place in Hollywood, and now, okay, we'll stop. Thank you very much. And now Hollywood has found a place right here in Orlando, Florida. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joan London. He's silly.
And I'm Charles Gibson. It is Tuesday, October 1st, and we are here to celebrate the first day of the Walt Disney World 25th anniversary celebration. It is extraordinary. 25 years ago to the day this place opened, there was one theme park, there were 2 hotels.
Two hotels.
Yep, now 3 theme parks, Waterlands, there are 25 resorts. You know how many people this place employs?
How many?
40,000 people.
It's incredible. And you should know that this is more than a theme park, the Disney MGM part, because it's also a real working motion picture, animation, and television studio. And here, the visitors can go and they can see Disney animated classics of the future while they're still on the drawing board.
But you do get a sense of the past in Hollywood. There's a lot of actors around here. The never-weres, the wannabes.
A lot of actors.
The dried-up damsels feasting on dreams of celluloid lore.
Oh, I like
go
that.
on.
But don't. Anyway, well, there's a lot of us that are on the move. Michael Gillen, he took what is known as the scariest ride here in Disney, and he's going to show you the technology behind the terror. And also Spencer Christian, he's gone from Frontierland. I think he's now over in Germany. Spencer?
Guten Tag, Joan and Charlie. Yes, I'm at Epcot's German Showcase. And just in time for Oktoberfest. And yes, there is a beer garden here. We'll show you around in just a minute. But first, let's go to Bill Ritter, who's in Epcot's Italian Showcase. Bill?
There's a music, sailing music with a boat in the background, dockside here at Lake Epcot. We're here. Look at that rainbow. Is that unbelievable? Little rain, but comes a rainbow. It's a happy place to be. And did you ever wonder what it would be like to actually work here at Walt Disney World? You know, the workers aren't even called workers. They're called cast members, and they're always so happy, or so it seems. Well, how does Disney do it? I'm going to show you, take you behind the scenes and show you how it's done. How does Joel Siegel do it? He's about 3 miles away at MGM Studios. Joel?
Thanks, Bill. This, the Primetime Cafe, celebrates the 50s and celebrates television. Great years for television. The 50s, great years for Disney animators. They turned out true classics like Cinderella and Lady and the Tramp. Hard to believe Disney almost quit animation.
Joel, I can't believe you have your elbows on the table.
I'll have the whole story later on, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Joel. As Joan mentioned a few moments ago, the biggest thrill ride here at the Disney MGM Studios, and I mean literally the biggest, is the Hollywood Tower. It is the Tower of Terror, is that what they call it?
That's right.
Our science editor, Michael Gillen, who basically covers science for us, but as I think many people know, is a ride freak.
Oh, yeah.
Found out how this thing works.
And I like them scary, Charlie. You know, the story goes that this hotel dates back to the 1930s, and you can look, it's pretty decrepit looking, but if you go behind the scenes like I did, I tell you, the technology that makes this work is strictly space age.
Welcome to the Hollywood Tower Hotel.
Stepping into these elevators is like stepping into the Twilight Zone. But don't worry, behind the scenes, Disney Imagineer Rod Kurihara says everything's under control.
It takes over 100 computers to control this ride.
100?
Yeah, in fact, that's even more processing power than they have on the space shuttle.
Like NASA, if one computer goes bad, there are backups for safety. And at Mission Control, technicians keep an eye on the ride, especially those crucial elevator motors.
Michael, this motor is over 200 times more powerful than an ordinary elevator motor.
Yeah, I can feel the whole building shaking, Rod.
The elevator motors are at the top of the tower. There's a steel cable wrapped around a huge computer-controlled drum. If the drum spins one way, it pulls the elevator up, leaving your stomach behind. If it spins the other way, it pulls the car down. 13 stories in just over a second, faster than a free fall.
You know, they tested this thing for 6 months for safety because it's so complicated. They wanted to make sure it was safe. They hold it to a safety standard, Charlie, that is 100 times more strict than the airline industry. So it's terrifying, but it's safe.
You've ridden this. I have not ridden this one.
About 10 times I've ridden it. Yeah, you've got to do it. You've got to do it.
I told you he was a ride freak. We're not ignoring the news. Elizabeth Vargas is back in New York at the news desk. Elizabeth, good morning.
Okay, Elizabeth, here at Epcot's German Showcase. Every day feels like Oktoberfest, the traditional autumn celebration. Or perhaps I should say Oktoberfest, when you hear the oompa sounds of the German, the Bavarian beer garden band, Oktoberfest music concert. They've really got their work cut out for them this morning. They're going to teach me to do this traditional old country dance, the slap dance. How do I do this? No, you come here. Come on, you do this. Go ahead, go. Much better. Okay, my feel slap happy now. Let's take a look at today's weather. It's going to be a nice calm day for much of the nation, but heavy rainfall and storms in the South Atlantic states and a little cool weather coming into the northwest. But high temperatures are still going to be summer-like in the nation's midsection, where they'll soar well into the 80s all through the plains. That's a look at the national weather. And now here's a look at the weather where you are.
The attention to detail in this place is really astounding. I mean, they have created Hollywood in its early days. Now, of course, I have a personal favorite part. Check it out. Always wanted my name in lights. How cool is that? Anyway, from the marquees to the actors to the vintage cars to the street lights, it really is the attention to detail that all the visitors who come here really enjoy, as our Bill Ritter found out. And Bill right now is over at Epcot.
Good morning again, Joan. You know, about 25 million people come to Walt Disney World every year. Many of them return time and time again. And as I found out, it is not by accident. This is part of a well-planned Disney business strategy.
On this magic night.
They call it a magical place, but there's nothing magical or accidental about the $3 billion a year success of the Disney World theme park. Everything here, it seems, is by design. From the look of the costumes to how people wait in line. From the constant presence of Disney's animated film characters to the strategic location of the gift stores.
Thank you.
And yes, even to what people are called. They're not workers, they're cast members, and usually smiling. And these aren't customers, they're guests who spend a lot of money. The business strategy is simple. Try to convince customers they'd like to be guests again. Linda Warren is Senior Vice President of Marketing, who started here 23 years ago as a ride operator.
Everything is planned. We want people to come in and be transformed and leave all their cares at the door. And so we just want to transform them as soon as they come in.
Congratulations and welcome to your first day here and to Traditions.
So that everyone who works here gets that message, all employees go through a kind of boot camp.
We are a fun company. We're an entertainment company.
It's called Disney University, and you're getting a rare look at the classes that introduce workers to the Disney way of doing business, including the so-called Disney look. Strict rules about what workers can wear and look like, top to bottom, from jewelry to hats, shoes to sunglasses, and especially hair on men. These are acceptable styles. These are not. And if a guy's hair is deemed unacceptable, he can march to Disney's underground barbershop called Kingdom Cutters.
And is my hair acceptable or unacceptable?
It's close. It's
close.
Quite full, so we would have to taper it in a little bit closer to look more of the Disney standard.
You know, I just got a haircut like 3 days ago.
We still have to bring you down to Disney look.
No, I like my hair like this.
These guidelines may seem extreme, but Disney executives say if they didn't insist on them, the product would suffer. Disney University Director Jane Parker.
If it naturally happened, I think anywhere you or I went, any business we went to, any place we ever went to be served, we would get excellent service. People would realize we're there because we want to be served and we want to have a great experience, and that doesn't happen to you or me every place we go.
Wall Street seems to agree. Entertainment analyst Chris Dixon.
Well, the issue is to maintain quality control, to maintain an image, to reinforce that Disney brand, and at the same time, to give people a reason to come back. There's a comfort level in knowing that you've been there before, and there's a comfort level in knowing what you're willing to expect.
And take a look at the ultimate in Disney planning, an entire town called Celebration. Designed by Disney, its vision of the perfect American city. It's a self-contained, privately run, and completely planned community for about 20,000 people, just minutes from the theme park. Of course, not everything Disney creates works. Its planned historical theme park in Virginia was virtually run out of town by local residents. And while things are now running smoothly at Euro Disney outside Paris, the French were far from hospitable when the park opened a few years ago. Disney says it has learned from these experiences and moved on. And in Florida, the magic goes on by design.
Let's conga!
Beautiful rainbow for the 25th anniversary, and for Disney, a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. Analysts say tourists will spend here in 1996 about $3 billion. Joan?
All right, thank you very much, Bill. Coming up on Good Morning America. Ooh, can I borrow that?
Sure, doll.
All right, we're going to talk about how to avoid the crowds and save money when you come to Disney World. I didn't take it. The lady gave it to me. We'll be back.
Looking to Save time, money, and avoid crowds on your visit to Disney World? Well, we have a guest who will tell you just how to do that. She is Alexandra Mays Birnbaum, the consulting editor of Birnbaum's Travel Guides, including the official guide to Walt Disney World. It's good to have you with us this morning.
Thank you.
Everybody wants to know how to save money, so why don't we start with some money-saving tips?
Well, saving money means planning ahead. That means checking out the possibility of buying a package so that the components will cost much less if you buy it as one complete group. Realizing that down here you have a choice of 18 resorts, and in terms of prices, they start at $69 at the All-Star Sports or All-Star Music. That's $17.25 if you've got 4 people in the room. Go to full-service, self-service restaurants instead of the full-service restaurants.
Yeah, sure,
You'll save
sure.
money. If you want to splurge and go to the fancier restaurants, go to them at lunchtime, where the entrees often cost less.
How about saving time, Alex? The place is so huge and there's so much to see.
You've got to plan ahead, Spencer. I mean, the idea is to know the layouts of the parks before you get here. And if you don't know them, then pick up one of the maps as you enter the gates. Check out where things are so that you don't spend all of your time figuring out which attractions you want to go to. When you go to the attractions, if there's more than one line, take a look at the line on your left. It almost always is shorter
Why
because
is that?
people instinctively go to their right, so the one on the left is going to be shorter.
Very quickly, people tend to think of Disney World as a place for families, but what about attractions for couples or singles, couples without kids and singles?
Well, see, this is where we are right now is a great place, because here at the Beer Garden over at the Germany Pavilion, if you're in groups of singles or just small groups, they seat you together, so it's a good way to meet people. Go over to the Disney Institute for a day. Take courses. Great way to meet people, or if you're couples, it's wonderful for adults. Also, there's a lot of romance here. You can have candlelight dinners for 2 over at Victoria and Albert's, over at the Grand Floridian.
It's a wonderful place, yeah.
Absolutely. And there also are places where you can have glasses of wine.
And if you are traveling as a family, some quick safety tips?
Safety tips, if you've got young kids, a good idea is to pick up a special name tag, fill out your child's name so that if your child gets separated from you, it's very easy for one of the staff members to pick the child out. Also, each of the parks has places at guest relations where they keep children's lost log books.
That's important.
So that you really can check them out. And if all else fails, plan to meet at a particular time during the day where you're all going to get together just in case you've been separated.
Okay, great tips. Alexandra Mays Birnbaum, thank you very much. And when Good Morning America continues, we've got some music for you. Peebo Bryson and Regina Troop will perform one of Disney's most popular songs, A Whole New World from Aladdin. Stay with us as Good Morning America continues from Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
And good morning, America. I'm Charles Gibson, as I hope you know by now, in Walt Disney World, where we are here to kick off their 25th anniversary celebration, which will be going on for 15 months every day. And so many people have visited this park feel nostalgic for it. We have cameras everywhere around Walt Disney World, and we thought we'd give you a little visual tour. That, of course, is Main Street, looking back toward Cinderella's castle that is now all gussied up as a birthday cake, with 26 candles on, 25 for the years that they have existed and 1 to grow on. And there is a shot of the area called Rivers of America, where normally the paddle boats are moving around in the water. I'm sure many people have taken that ride when they have visited here. That's in the Magic Kingdom theme park. And now we've gone over to the Epcot Center, the second of the theme parks here. And that is a shot from the World Showcase, the national pavilions that surround the lake over towards Spaceship Earth, which is really the signature building in the middle of Epcot. And that is a helicopter shot of same. Pulling back. We've had a little bit of rain here this morning, but it's clearing now. And this is the third theme park, the Disney MGM Studios. That's the Hollywood Tower, the Tower of Terror that Michael Gillen gave you a tour of a little bit earlier in the program, showed you how it works, and you see the beginnings of the crowds that are beginning to come into the park that opens at 8:30 in the morning. Little visual tour there. That takes you around a lot faster than the monorail will move you around, and we visited there all 3 of the theme parks here at Disney World. In this half hour, we're going to be talking to Michael Eisner, who is Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company. We're also going to tell you an interesting story about how the Disney Company almost abandoned what is its bread and butter. It is known for the animated movies, obviously, and a few years ago, Disney almost got out of the animated movie business. And Joel Siegel will tell you what happened in just a few moments. Also a song from Peebo Bryson and Regina Troop, one of the signature Disney songs, this one from Aladdin. But first, we check up on the news of the morning, and Elizabeth Vargas is standing by with that. Students of the movie business know that Disney's involvement with animation actually began in 1928 with a short called Steamboat Willie that starred a mouse of some prominence. And of course, there have been many memorable movies since then. The first movie I ever saw was Pinocchio, seen it only about 50 times since. And the Disney people have been very much involved with animation ever since. But was a time when the Disney people almost abandoned their involvement in animated pictures. Joel Siegel is over at the Disney MGM studios to tell you what happened. Joel?
Charlie, if you grew up in the 50s, and I know you did, this looks just like home. And if you grew up in the 50s, you grew up with Disney animated characters. But yes, there was a time when Disney came this close to quitting animation. And it wasn't that long ago.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
Say bird. Bird.
More than great animated films, these films have to be considered on any serious list of the greatest films ever made. And as long as Walt Disney was hands-on involved, or pen and pencils on, magic happened. In the 50s, he was busy planning Disneyland. Sleeping Beauty was the first major animated feature to be made without Walt's touch, and humor and humanity. And it shows. And he knew it, so he was hands-on again, head over heels in The Jungle Book. And it shows. Disney died in 1966. This would be his last animated feature.
Just the bare necessities of life.
These animated features are more than just films. For 3 generations, they've been the first films we've seen, with characters, memories, even feelings we carry with us the rest of our lives. Then in the 70s and into the 80s, Disney animation went off track. As a critic and a fan and a kid whose favorite movie was Pinocchio, one of the hardest things I've had to do. A great American art form was dying, and I was one of the crowd who'd gathered to sign the death certificate.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to give a Walt Disney cartoon a bad review.
With a black cauldron, the fabled Disney animators seemed all burnt out. The studio actually considered leaving motion pictures entirely.
Certainly no cost was spared as far as just the visual look of the picture and the special effects and all of that. But to me, what was hurting was the heart and the real soul of the stories and the characters.
But 1 year later, Mark Ken was drawing a character called Ariel. A new regime had taken over.
We attribute this quite frequently to Roy Disney, who is...
This is Roy Jr.
Roy Jr., right. And Roy talks about the 3 things you need in order to make a great Disney animated feature, and they are story, story, and story. It was going back to what made a great Disney feature. It was going back and finding it.
And Mark Ken would animate Belle, Pocahontas, and young Simba. The Lion King is the top-selling video cassette of all time. According to Video Business Magazine, all 5 top-selling videos are of Disney animated features. Barely 10 years after the studio came close to closing its Burbank studios, a new animation facility at Disney World is producing its own animated feature. The Renaissance in animation means new characters for the theme parks. The magic is back for another generation, at least.
This amazing run of features, 6 and 7 years, from Mermaid to The Hunchback of Notre Dame, unsurpassed even by Walt Disney himself. And for the first time, other major studios, 20th Century Fox, Paramount, DreamWorks, Warner Brothers, have animated features either in production or ready to be released. The reasons for the Renaissance really are story, story, and story. Of course, a little genius never hurt either. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Joel. This park, Walt Disney World, looks much the same as it did when it opened 25 years ago, or at least parts of it do, but my goodness, how Joel has changed. Since 1985, that clip looked much different. When we come back, the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company, Michael Eisner. Have a chance to talk with him when Good Morning America continues. Stay with
us. Good Morning America continues. Once again, Charles Gibson.
For those of you who have done it, you know how hard it is to throw a birthday party and invite, say, 12 6-year-olds. It is a big proposition to do all of that. Well, can you imagine giving a 15-month-long birthday party and inviting 100 million people? That's what our next guest has done. He is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company, Michael Eisner.
Good morning.
You're going to be here to meet all of them when they show up, right?
It's actually easier to have 6-year-olds than it is to... it's easier to have 100... Right.
You run this place. Do you have to stand in line when you get on the rides?
I don't have to, but I do often.
Do you really?
We like to see what it's like when it's hot and humid and people are tired. My children let me know when the lines are too long, and I hear about it.
And the other thing that's so frustrating, do the characters talk to you?
When they're in character?
Yes.
Never.
Never?
Never.
Not even to you?
I have been in a limousine with Mickey Mouse going to the White House when we were driving around the block about 3 times, and I kept saying, I know you're in there. Are you a man or a woman? Is it hot in there? Say hello to me.
Right.
Nothing. I said, look, I'm the chairman of the board. I can change the rules. Speak to me.
Still won't do it.
Zippo. Nothing.
That's funny. 25 years ago, actually more than that, when they first started buying land, and Walt Disney had this image of building this theme park because he was so landlocked in California, didn't have enough land, couldn't have afforded it. People said it won't work. Central Florida, you're not near the beaches, it's swampland, can't happen. Why do you think it did? Why do you think it worked so well?
I think his attention to detail, even though he didn't live to see it open, he had left a culture and a philosophy for excellence, for guest service, for fun, for, he knew he wasn't curing cancer, we were just going to have a good time, and his landscaping concepts, and it just is done really well.
It is a phenomenon. I was saying earlier, I suspect it probably is the most phenomenal man-made vacation resort that's ever existed. And it has provided a lot of jobs for this area. It has certainly meant boom time for this area around here. Why are other areas, do you think, so wary when the Disney people say we may come in? I'm thinking obviously of the park in Virginia that you had proposed a couple of years ago.
Well, almost everywhere we go, people are not wary. I mean, if I go visit my in-laws in Jamestown, New York, the next thing I see is a headline is Disney's coming to Western New York State. I think everybody really wanted us, but the Washington Post. We ran across a big barrier, and it said Hunt Country, and people were a little nervous that maybe we would trivialize history. But we are going to develop the things that we had for Disney's America in Disney's California Adventure, at least how it relates to the West in California, where they're a little more used to us. Why we were a little Disney-esque for the Beltway, I think.
Tell me about, everybody talks about the positive parts of this. Tell me what's wrong with Disney World. Is it too expensive?
Well, I don't think much is wrong with Disney World. No, it's not too expensive. What you get here for what you pay, the amount of time, the amount of attractions, the amount of things that you don't pay for once you pay your initial ticket is much less than even a movie ticket where you go for 2 hours. What's wrong on occasion is it's too hot. It's often very crowded. The biggest thing that's wrong is you have to leave. As a parent, sometimes it's a little tiring after your 4-year-old has had a long day and he's cranky. That could be hard.
Walt Disney envisioned this place as someplace that would never be finished, that there would always be room to grow. Is there an economy of scale here? Can it get too big?
Well, I've been here about half the 25 years, and I think we've more than doubled it. We've, I don't know, put $3 or $4 billion in the ground. We've opened up maybe 19 hotels, 2 theme parks, 2 water parks, Celebration in Newtown. I think you've talked about a little bit the Disney Institute, which was inspired by Chautauqua in Western New York State. No, I don't think it can get too big. It can get too sloppy. It can get too badly done. It can get, the cast members can get too surly, none of which happens. But I don't think it's too big. I mean, we have a land size that gives us a palette on which to draw that is wonderful. We don't have to worry, for the first time in my life, we don't have to worry about can we get that piece of land and is there going to be a building right in front of it in 3 years.
Your favorite ride when you're down here?
Oh, geez. I think the last one we do always...
the newest one.
The newest. It's like your last child.
Yeah.
That birth is always nice.
Sure. Michael Eisner, good to be here. Nice to talk to you. Thanks for being with us. We take a commercial break. When we come back, Peabo Bryson and Regina Troop with a song that I think you'll recognize. Good Morning America continues after this.
Besides all the wonderful animated classics in the theme parks, it's the Disney tunes that we all remember. And right now you're going to hear one of the best by Peabo Bryson and Regina Troop, A Whole New World from the movie Aladdin.
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, knowing did you last? Let your heart decide. I can open your eyes over, sideways, and under on a magic carpet ride. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no or where to go or say we're only dreaming. A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But now from way up here, it's crystal clear that now I'm in a whole new world with you. Unbelievable skies, unbelievable, indescribable feeling, soaring, tumbling, freewheeling through an endless diamond sky. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no or where to go or say we're only dreaming. Every turn a surprise, with new horizons. Every moment better. I'll chase them anywhere. There's time to spare. Anywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you. A whole new world. A whole new world. That's where we'll be. Where we will be. A thrilling chance. A wondrous place for you and me. Ooh, yeah.
We'll be back with more live from Orlando, Florida, and Walt Disney World's 25th anniversary celebration in just a moment.
Good Morning America is brought to you by Oil of Olay.
Well, the gang's all here now. We got the big boss, Michael Eisner. Thank you so much for letting us come down here.
With all due respect, we got the big boss over here.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. This is the board of directors here, the whole gang.
Mr. Mouse, Mr. Duck, thank you ever so much. Bebo, Regina, thank you. We'll be back in New York tomorrow. We had a terrific time. Hope you did as well. We'll see you tomorrow from New York. Till then, take care.
Bye-bye.